Hello and welcome to more of my trading stuff. What we're going to do in this video is have a look at the new mix and match bot that we've written to help you trade. The first thing I'm going to do after I've installed it is add an instance. And in this case we're going to add the DAX or the JR30 or DE30, whatever we care to call it. And I'm going to change the time frame to 1 minute. So this is based around the flip of a super trend line, but we have added some additional entry criteria that you can choose so you can really tailor it to how you want to trade. It's not designed to be a set and forget bot, but rather one that aids you with your trading and also helps train you to get in at the right point, and then it's over to you for the trade management. So if we have a look and run through the options that we have. At the top here, we have the display text that I have set to yes, and then the horizontal alignment is set to right. And I'll just start this playing so you can see what comes up on screen. So you can see on the right hand side of the screen, we've got a list of the indicators it's monitoring and whether they're in buy or sell mode. It then totals it up to give you a sell weighting or a buy weighting for the market at the moment. So let me stop it there so we can carry on through our parameters. The next options down, we've got the settings for the super trend line. We thought with this bot people might want to try their own variants of this and actually play with these numbers and see if you can improve the performance by using different values. If you have a look at one of our other videos that we've made, it's all about how the super trend's calculated, and it's quite useful knowing this before you start trading this way. The next line down we have is a quantity and lots, and I'm going to change this to 1 because when I'm trading the indices with IC markets, the minimum quantity is 1. The next two sections are really about our trades. Do we want to use this bot to place trades for us or not? And we can set it to take buy trades or sell trades, or we can set both of them to be yes. So here I'm going to set both of them to yes, so that the bot will take both buy and sell trades. And then I'm going to change the stop and the limit for each of these. Now with IC markets on indices, the pips are a factor of 10 different to a lot of other brokers. So this is why the numbers I put in here will seem extremely high. So I'm going to use an initial stop of 150, which is equivalent to 15 pips. And I'll do the same for both buy and sell trades. Now, because effectively I don't want a limit, I want it to trade and run down and get as much as it can from a trade, I'm going to set my limit to be very high. So I'm just going to add a couple of noughts on the end to each of these to make it 2000, which is equivalent of 200 pips with a lot of brokers. And then we can change our other entry criteria. So it looks at the PSAR, and this is just, is the PSAR above or below the price, indicating a buy or sell trade. With the OSMA, it's is this rising or falling? And then you've got the signal, the TSI and the TSI cross. And what it might be best to do at this point in time is to add these other indicators to the chart so you can see what they look like in relation to your main chart. So we'll come on and we'll add the PSAR to start with. So I'll type in para for parabolic SAR. I'm going to change the colour to be purple, and I'm going to leave this as a thick 3 line, but make my dots as big as I can. So I can now see my PSAR dots on screen. Actually, I'll come back in and I'll make these even bigger, make these a 5 so they stand out a bit more. Now we can actually stand a hope of seeing them properly. Now we want to add an OSMA to the screen and a TSI. So we take off our search bit, and these will be under the custom indicators. We've got our coloured OSMA, and we just leave this at the default settings, except I will make these lines a little bit thicker. And now we'll add our TSI. And again, I'm going to make these lines a little bit thicker. So these are the indicators that the bot will be looking at to take you into a trade. It can be quite handy once you've got your screen set up with the indicators on it to actually do a right mouse click, go to your template, go to Save Template and give it a name. That way we can always easily bring this back up on screen. And now we can choose which of these criteria we want to use for our trade entry. So to keep this quite simple, I'm just going to use the PSAR to say, yes, that's got to be the right side for the trade. And for the OSMA, it's either got to be rising or falling. So we say yes to those two, but I'm going to leave all of the TSI ones set to no. We then have a trade exit criteria, which is something new we've added. So this will allow you to exit trades on a reverse super trend flip. So you can see here, it's flipped and gone long and then flipped again to come short. So it would have gone in here and come out here. So we will say yes to turn that on. And we've got options for a trailing stop as well, which I'm not going to set at this moment in time. And for a start and an end time for our trading, because we may want to make sure that this bot doesn't take any trades before a set time or after a set time. So I'm going to change this to 7. So it's 7:30, so it won't take any trades before 7:30 in the morning. And I'm going to make this 16:30. So it won't take any trades after 4:30 in the afternoon. Now it could be when you look at your charts that you find in a certain market it may be quite active between say 7:30 and 10:30 in the morning. So you could set 7:30 and 10:30 so you know you're not accidentally going to start taking trades when a market drifts into range. We also have our option here for sending Telegram messages when a trade is taken, which you can set up if you choose to. And there is a debug option at the bottom of the screen that will display additional information, which really is only used for troubleshooting. So that's our basic parameters set up. So now let's have a look at how this works in practice and how it actually trades. I'm going to hide this section on the left hand side of the screen because I don't need that anymore. So what I've still got are my parameters down here so I can easily see them all. And that's one lovely thing about cTrader 3.7. We do have this new parameters section that we can have a look at. And I'm going to go into backtesting mode so that we can fast forward through time and actually see some trades being placed. So I'm going to run this purely for yesterday. So I'll choose yesterday as my start date and it's got yesterday as my end date. Now I also want to make sure this runs on tick by tick data, and I'm going to change my starting capital to 1,000. On indices on IC markets there's no commission, but if we use tick data then we'll get an accurate spread, and we'll also see if a spike of a candle takes us in or out of a trade. I'm going to use visual mode so we can see on screen what's happening. And to start with, I'm going to speed this up because it will start from midnight, but I don't actually want to start trading until 7:30 in the morning. So we'll speed it up, then we'll pause it and we'll look from 7:30. So I'll click play. And we'll let it whiz on for the first few hours. Okay, so what we can see on screen here, we've got our super trend line and our price, and we can see the spread that we're getting at the moment. We've also got all of our indicators and whether they're in buy or sell mode, and also the weighting. I'm going to slow this down a little bit, and I'm also going to put our trade watch panel back on screen so we can see, if I go to my positions bit, when it opens a position we'll actually see it appear here. So I'll click on play for a minute and see what happens. So we're now into our possible trading time. And I'll pause it here, and you can see it's opened a trade for us, and we've got our stop loss here, which would cost us £12.56 if it goes and hits stop, and somewhere way down here off screen we'll actually have our take profit level. You can see here we've got our quantity of 1, it's a sell, we've got our entry price, we've got our take profit level, our stop level, the date and time it was created. We can see we're currently up a whole 2 pips, although you can see initially the trade went against us and how much money we're up by at the moment. So we carry on and let this run. Okay, and I'll pause it there because we've had a reverse super trend flip, so we've now come out of our trade. If we want to see where that trade went, we go to our history tab and we click on it there. So we can see the point at which we went in, and we can see the point at which we came out. And we can see in total we made £123 on this trade. We've got our entry price and our close price. So looking very roughly, that's between 140 and 150 pips that we've made on that trade. We could, if we wanted, change all of the different entry criteria. You can change the time frame. I believe some people have used the original strategy on the FTSE, the DAX and on the DOW, and on time frames varying from 1 minute to 15 minutes. We've not tested it on anything higher than that, and to be honest, we've done limited testing across the indices. This is a bot that was developed because of various requests coming into us, and to give people the opportunity to select the different entry criteria so they can work out what works best for them. As I said at the beginning, this isn't designed to be a set and forget bot. It's more a training bot to help you get in and then manage a trade. Because realistically, you wouldn't let a trade go nearly 140 pips without having locked in something at some point. And it's that you would need to be doing while you're live trading. I'll just stop this for a second here and hide the trade watch, so we can see all of our options. Now, if we look at the trailing stop, I think it's important I explain quite how that works. If we just were to set this to yes and say when up 20 pips, which because this is a DAX on IC markets, I'd need to make that 200, it would trail by 10 pips. So again, I need to make that 100. So as soon as your trade is 20 pips in profit, then this trailing stop will start to trail the price by 10 pips. So if you wanted to move your stop to break even and then trail from that point still at 20 pips, you would need to make this 200. One other thing to remember is that if you're using this trailing stop section here and you manually move your stop, next time the next pip comes in, your trailing stop will be recalculated according to this, and it may very well override any stop that you have put in or where you've moved your stop to. So if you're using this trailing stop, then please don't manually alter your stop as well, because the two will interfere with each other and it will give you very unpredictable results. As I said, you could backtest this for set periods of a day, so you could run this for maybe 7:30 to 10:30. You could even optimize it to see the best parameters to use within that time and the best combination of entry criteria. And then you can set that running and you can still manually trade alongside that by altering your stop and your limit manually on screen. It could be when you look at the chart that you want to move your stop in closer, or you want to set a higher limit based on previous support and resistance levels or pivot levels that you're aware of. Anyway, I hope you found this interesting and find this bot useful. If you have any comments or questions, then please leave them below or contact us via WhatsApp. Thank you for watching.